Hey guys, Ron Lyons here, and of course you know me as the Tactical Redneck. And I want to do this video today as a follow-up to one that I started actually back, gosh, almost 2 years ago. A year and 10 months from the date of this recording, which is actually January 1st, 2026. And the subject of that video almost 2 years ago was a much cleaner, nicer, new version of this boot right here. And actually it was this boot right here. It was these boots. These are the Rothco 8-inch. They call them the deployment boot. Okay, now they've got the zipper on the side, and they're of course made in China. And about 2 years ago, whenever I had these things and I wanted to give them a try, of course I'm very familiar with all of the name brand boots, but I wanted to try these and see if there was actually anything to these, really put them through real life trials and see how they turned out. So here we are, nearly 2 years later, and I think I can suffice it to say that these boots, the Rothco 8-inch deployment boots, were absolutely worth the money. Now, you know, there's a lot of other brands out there that have quite the reputation for being amazing, and of course they are. And we'll review those from time to time as well. But I have to say, for the money, this Rothco boot was absolutely worth it. And let me tell you what kind of hell I've put these things through. And you can just kind of take a look at them and get a pretty good idea that they weren't just for casual daily wear. I've got a ranch in North Texas, and it is muddy, it's dirty, it's wet, it's all kinds of things, all kinds of surfaces, from gravel to dirt to all kinds of animal stuff, if you know what I'm talking about. And these boots have literally seen it all. They've been through the ice, they've been through the rain, they've been in submersed in all kinds of stuff. And I'll tell you what I like about them, what I don't like about them. And of course, you can kind of form your own opinion, but I hope that my video helps you in making up your mind. Because, you know, I understand that sometimes you want to buy something, you need something like this, but you don't have the, you know, $300, $400, or $500 or more to spend on some of those name brands. So you've got something like this that comes in at typically just a little over $100, and you think, well, it's good if it's going to work for me, but that's terrible if I'm going to end up buying like 2 or 3 pairs. And I might as well just go ahead and save my money and buy the more expensive ones. So let me just be very, very clear before I get a whole bunch of negative comments below in the under this video. I'm not trying to say this is a replacement for your Danners or your Merrills or your 511s or anything else for that matter. I'm just saying that if you're looking for a budget boot, the Rothco 8-inch side zip. Now, this one originally started out, I believe they call this a sand color. This is not the coyote brown. This is, or was, before it got as stained and, you know, tortured as it has been, sand colored. And it's got the zipper right here on the side. It's got the original laces still in it. I've never replaced these. Does not have any sort of a metal toe or anything like that. Not a composite. There's no protection in that regard on these particular boots. I'm just going to read you some of what it says inside the actual boot. Leather or suede upper, EVA midsole, rubber outsole, slip and oil resistant outsole, suede comfort collar, and a moisture wicking liner, zipper, and a steel shank. So that's all of the features that you get in this boot. That's quite a bit. That's pretty good. Of course, it's made in China, and that can be good or that can be bad. It's usually better on your budget, not so good in quality and performance. But I just want to show you a couple of things. One of the things that obviously you would expect failure on would be the zipper. And I have to say, I have never ever waxed or lubricated this zipper whatsoever. And it's a little stiff. There's a lot of dirt and crud and stuff like that in here. And so it takes a little effort to get it zipped up, but it still works. But just, maybe a little more care and a little more attention to that zipper would have made that thing last a little longer. Now, let's talk about whether or not this thing is waterproof. It is not, but it is very water resistant. And what I mean is I can literally put water directly on the boot. I can walk through puddles, and it takes a while before I start to feel anything actually getting into the interior of the boot. So not marketed as waterproof, not even water resistant, but they are just in the way that they're built and the materials, they are very water resistant. And I think that's something that's awesome. And I want to show you this on the bottom. Look at this. There's so much crud in these treads of these boots. I'm extremely hard on a pair of boots. And I will typically, because of the supination of my foot when I walk, I will typically wear out the inside of the heel on these things, and especially on my dominant side. So this would be the right boot. And this area right here, this would typically be gone on most boots. And much to my surprise and satisfaction, this thing has held up like crazy. This is probably one of the only boots that I have put through this kind of hell that actually has withstood so much abuse like that. Now, here's one of the things that I don't necessarily love about these things, but it's something that's easily overcome, and that is the sock liner on the inside. Now, this is the original sock liner in here, and these things are super, super thin. They're not very high quality. They're just not very, very good. So I would say if there's a weak part of this boot, that's it. But you know as well as I do that you can go to any number of different places and get a sock liner from Dr. Scholl's and so many different companies and put them in. And I've done that in these, but this was so thin. The original one was so thin that I've always just left these inside the boot and then put the one that I actually want in on top of it. And it's provided quite a bit of cushioning and comfort. It's been really, really nice. Now, I could have replaced the shoelaces. I could have done some things to the suede, to the leather to maybe protect it better, but I didn't. I just took these things straight out of the box and ran them as is, like straight out of the box, no special protection, no extra care, no nothing like that. And they have absolutely performed super well. So I'm going to just kind of wrap this up by saying I do recommend these. If you're on a budget, if you're trying to, watch the money that you're going to spend on things like that, I really do not believe that you can go wrong with the Rothco 8-inch deployment boots. I like the side zipper. Now I'm going to go ahead and get another pair. I'm going to start another test, but I'm going to treat the suede, and I'm going to do some things like keep the zipper lubed up or waxed up, and I'm going to take more care of the next pair, and maybe we'll come back in another 2 years and do a follow-up video on that and just see exactly how well they held up. Now, if you're interested in these, I've got a link below. You can certainly visit the tacticalredneck.com website, and you can get a pair there. Now, they have what's called MAP pricing on these things. That means that anyone who sells these like we do is technically not supposed to be able to sell these things for less than a certain price. That makes it a much more fair market, or at least in theory, that's what that does. That's not always the case, because you'll have a couple of people out there who are, not following the rules, a little less scrupulous, who list these things and sell them in other products for less than MAP pricing. And usually when the distributors and manufacturers find out that somebody's doing that, they go ahead and shut them down and they kill their account. We've been in business for a long, long time, And we're not going to go under that MAP pricing, but how I can make this a better deal for you is by throwing in a Tactical Redneck t-shirt with it. So that's how you can actually save money on this. You're going to get free shipping, you're going to get the boots, and you're going to get a $25 Tactical Redneck t-shirt as well, all for just the price of the boots, which is, like I said, just a little over $100. So check that out. It's tacticalredneck.com. And if you would, go to our Facebook page and get on that page. We're going to start a group soon, and that's going to be a lot of fun because we're going to be able to talk about a lot of survival prepping, military, law enforcement, all of those things. And we're also, growing right here on YouTube. If you don't know what happened, we're not going to get into it right now, but we got deplatformed some time back. We had a very big following, a very big everything, and we had a t-shirt for sale that had a Roman numeral 3 on it. And apparently that's considered hate speech. So we lost our platforms, we lost our credit card processing, and we're just now coming back into the game as of January 2026. So guys, thank you so very much. As always, stay safe and God bless.